FATEC Motion Module 9, Axis Table 2. This chapter focuses on the axis table in the motion control project. This chapter describes steps 3 in the flowchart. Axis table, error tolerance and following error. The position done tolerance is the allowable error range indicating that the motor has reached the commanded position. Following error is the discrepancy between the commanded position and the actual position. The table provides descriptions of the remaining parameters in the axis table settings. If the following error exceeds the following error window and remains so for longer than the set following error timeout, special relay M11265 will be activated. An alarm will be triggered if the position error does not decrease below the allowable tolerance within the checking time after the positioning is done. The difference in positioning completion time is caused by the servo delay. Servo delay is a normal phenomenon, as long as it goes through the appropriate drive tuning steps. The servo delay can be reduced to a tolerable range. Next, demonstrate how to observe servo delay. Using the project file from the previous chapter, add a new 0.7. Single-axis relative coordinate positioning mode. Main axis is axis 1. Target is 400 mm. The speed is 800 mm per second. Acceleration time and deceleration time are 10 milliseconds. Download and run the PLC. Turn on the monitoring chart. Monitor parameter command speed and speed feedback. Start the test run and run 0.7. When the command speed returns to 0, the controller sends the positioning control done signal. The time difference between the command speed and the feedback of the speed at 0 value is the time difference between the completion of the positioning. Demonstration completed. The probe function is used to precisely capture the position of an axis or detect specific events during motion. The touch probe triggers through an external DI signal of the drive or Z signal of the encoder, based on the user's configuration of either the rising or falling edge. Special registers and special relays used for the probe function. Next, demonstrate how to use the touch probe function. Go to the axis table and find the servo probe. Turn probe 1 of axis 3 on. Set it to Z signal. Trigger at the upper edge. Continuous mode. Turn probe 2 of axis 3 on. Set it to Z signal. Trigger at the upper edge. Single mode. Download and run the PLC. Enter the special relay and special register of the touch probe of axis 3 on the status page. There are 4 data for each set of probes, which are probe enable, probe reset, probe trigger state, and probe coordinates. Input a total of 8 relays and register of touch probe on axis 3 into the status page. TO, start the test run. Press Initialize. Set up probe to enable. Push axis 3 one turn by hand. When the probe is triggered, the position at the time of triggering is recorded. And set the trigger state. Push shaft 3 one turn by hand. Probe 1 continuous mode updates the probe trigger position. Probe 2 maintains the position of the first trigger. Set probe 2 to reset. Push shaft 3 one turn by hand. Probe 2 will refresh again. Demonstration complete. Parameter mapping. The table lists the item numbers of the parameters mentioned in this chapter in the mapping table.